So now we're going to take a look at our final example, a really interesting piece by Valerie Capers, a living American composer. This one is a perfect example of 32-bar song form, a type of rounded binary. Notice that the A section uses repeat signs, and it is an entire 8-bar phrase. We'll listen to it in a moment, but that is repeated, giving us 2 A phrases. And then in the B section, we get 2 additional 8-bar phrases. One contrasting, which we label with a lowercase b. It's labeled on the score as bridge. And then in measures 17 through 24, we get a restatement of the melody we heard at the very beginning. Thus, 32-bar song form. So what we hear here is a 32-bar song form. When the 8-bar phrase that we open with is repeated, we hear that twice. Then we hear the contrasting B phrase, which is labeled as bridge in the score for the next 8 bars. And then the last 8 bars recall the opening 8 bars. So this is a really great example of 32-bar song form when we hear it performed with the repeat signs. This is also an example of continuous binary, meaning that at the point of bisection, we do not end on a tonic chord, but rather a chord other than tonic. We do modulate in this example, but we don't modulate by the point of bisection. Let me show you how it works. The overall key of the piece is C. And by the time we get to the ending of the section, we are hearing some dominant harmony there. I hear it as an inconclusive cadence, as a half cadence. Now, where the bridge starts, however, you will notice that we have some chromaticism. And I am hearing this section in the key of F. When we listen to the recording, I'll invite you to hear that. But notice how the left-hand part is constructed. Here we have like a 1 major 7 chord. And we get the same thing here as well, but now transposed to F. And I invite you to hear that as tonic at that point. Now we get a lot of really interesting, cool chromaticism in the bridge phrase. Some of which we don't have labels for yet because we haven't studied those chords. But we're just talking about overall global things here in terms of what we're listening for. What you'll notice is that when we get here, we have that return to the opening A phrase, and I invite you to hear that again in C. If we add our key areas to the form diagram, it will look like this. Let's take a listen. So if you liked the chords in that excerpt, stick in this class, stick with it, because we're going to learn about what a lot of those cool chromatic chords are that appear in Billie's song. So that concludes my 3 examples for you for your introduction to binary form Your next step is going to be to try to apply some of these ideas to analyses of other pieces, which I've provided for you on Moodle.